Amazon Prime Video and St. Damien of Molokai, Monday Musings. If you're a member of Amazon Prime, one of the features that you have access to is what's called Prime Video, and you can get a whole bunch of movies at no cost. I'm not a member of Prime. I was with someone who is, and we were scrolling through looking for a movie to watch, and we came across a movie called Molokai, and it's about Father Damien. And if you're a member of Amazon Prime, you can watch that movie for free. It's actually an excellent movie to watch. Sometimes when you watch movies about the saints, sometimes they can be, some are okay, some are not so good. And this particular one, well, I thought it was an excellent movie, and it seemed to be very accurate to the life of St. Damien. If you know nothing about him, he was a Belgian priest, and he was actually ordained on the Hawaiian Islands. And it was at a time when leprosy was, all throughout the Hawaiian Islands. And so what they were doing is, because they were so, fearful of this disease, that they were actually quarantining, appropriate for our times, they were quarantining the lepers to the island of Molokai on the Kalupapa Peninsula, and they were allowed no access to anyone who was not in that area where they were quarantined. So they were so fearful of it that no person could enter could enter that area of Molokai unless you had leprosy. Once you got there, you would stay there until you died. So it was very difficult, and eventually they needed a priest to go there. So Father Damien at that time then chose to go to the island of Molokai and minister to the lepers at that time. And he was only supposed to be there for a couple of years. He was so moved by the struggle of the lepers that he stayed there for his whole entire life. When he got there, the place was in ruins, and so he kind of rebuilt the church, and he did a whole bunch of other stuff. And eventually he himself would go on to contract leprosy, and he eventually died from that. There is a shrine there on the island of Molokai. There is a shrine to St. Damien if you're ever on the Hawaiian Islands, and his body is no longer there because they moved it to Belgium, where he was from, but eventually they did take his hand and they placed that on the shrine on Molokai to Father Damien. He was only canonized by Pope Benedict XVI in 2009, and when Pope Benedict canonized him, he said, St. Damien prompts us to choose the good, not the kind that brings division, but the kind that gathers people together. He invites us to open our eyes to the forms of leprosy that disfigure the humanity of our brethren, and still today call for the charity of our presence as servants, beyond that of our generosity. So, if you have access to Amazon Prime, I certainly would encourage you to watch the movie, and if you don't, I'll include a link where you can, if you want, you can purchase the movie. So, see you soon, St. Catherine's.